What is up? I'm Bdank from the main channel Bdank. This is my second or review channel, and today I'm here with my first review. On this channel, I'll be reviewing musical albums, games, TV shows, and movies, so drop a subscription to hear me review your favorite entertainments. But without further ado, today I'm here to review one of the greatest games of all time, Cuphead. You have to keep in mind, when I first played Cuphead, I had only played quick shooters and other games like Fortnite, CSGO, COD BO3, Rainbow Six, Rocket League, Minecraft, and a lot more. So when I first played Cuphead, it was a whole new world for me, and it blew my mind. You see, the developers of this game put so much time into this game and its soundtrack. It just came out as one of the best and most enjoyable forms of entertainment ever. But I feel like I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. Let's explain Cuphead and its great appeal. Cuphead is a story about two boys with cups on their heads and innocent lives, until one day they decide to go to the devil's casino, where they would gamble their souls away in an attempt to be the richest cups in Inkwell. When the boys inevitably ask for their freedom, the devil grants them the opportunity to kill all the devil's debtors and hand in their soul contracts to the devil and King Dice. The boys, of course, accept the challenge and begin their journey in Inkwell Isle 1. We spawn in this Teapot Man's home, where he grants us our first ability, the pea shooter. We then do the tutorial and learn the basics of the game, going around and taking out the first bosses. Fun fact, Treetop Trouble, the level on the screen right now, actually took me 6 hours to beat. Without a doubt, Treetop Trouble is in my top 3 levels / bosses in Cuphead. The level is set up perfectly. You start running up this horizontally sloped tree trunk, and then go up this vertical trunk of wasp and cylinder individual tree stumps that give you a rough time. Finally, you get up in the air and do this parkour course and fight the mini boss at the end. The level is structured brilliantly. The first stage is a level 1 in difficulty, but a level 3 in length. The second stage is a level 2 in difficulty and a level 2 in length. And the third stage is a level 3 in difficulty and a level 1 in length. The level is a perfect build-up, and its format was forgotten in some of the later levels, like for instance, the final level in the game. But let's stay on Inkwell Isle 1. The levels are relatively easy, and the only other levels that gave me any sort of problem were the Hildeberg and Toad levels. Those were very hard, and I felt semi-accomplished on both of them, but that's just because they both had aspects that rely upon RNG and being lucky. For instance, the Toad level, it's a random choice whatever mode the slot machine you could get. So just when you thought you had the hang of the first mode, it switches up on you, and you pretty much have to start from scratch. All that's left on Inkwell Isle 1 is the Mausoleum. So once you get the best super ability in Cuphead, you should have gotten your second ability or weapon and gotten a basic understanding of Cuphead. But it only gets tougher from now on, kid. Isle 2 knocked Isle 1 out of the park. This is by far my favorite isle in Cuphead, from the brilliant design on characters like Grim Matchstick and Jimmy the Great, to the addictive structure of the Beppy the Clown level. Isle 2 does not fail to amuse you, but the one level that let me down was Funhouse Frazzle. This level introduced a whole new mechanic out of nowhere. Not to say that's a bad thing or anything, but they never used a mechanic ever again in the game. The mechanic is basically like a gravity reverser that you parry. Don't worry, we'll get to parrying later, but it makes you run on the ceiling or the floor relative to the previous platform that you were running on. It's something that I never understood about the game. The whole time I was playing Isle 3, I was waiting and waiting for the system to be used again, but the mechanic was not introduced any other times. So it was pretty much just a pointless addition to the game. But all in all, thank you Isle 2 for all those great rages and great memories. I will forever remember you. In Isle 3, you start to realize how bad you were at the game, and you start to become this tryhard that thinks they can take on any boss. And this time is like that time with a video game where you just get kind of bored a little, and you miss being vulnerable, and you miss being powerless, a young Cup, because you know everything there is to know now, and there's nothing to do about it. You've already experienced Cuphead. And there's no way in hell you're quitting though, because you know that beating the devil is going to be the best feeling ever. On Isle 3, bosses are harder than ever. The running guns become hard. The bosses become hard. There's really no key detail in Isle 3 that really deserves a talking point, because all the bosses are just hard, and that's the only way to put it. You become a Cuphead god though. Your skills exponentially grow in Isle 3 and prepare you for the moment that you've been waiting for after those 2.5 weeks of slaving away to this game. But before that, let's talk about parrying. While I might should have put this at the beginning of the video, I'll put it here because parrying in Cuphead is like the Captain Marvel of Cuphead. As soon as you think it's over and you just completely forget about it, it comes up and saves it for you. This applies in gameplay and just looking at the qualities of Cuphead. Parrying is a system where you double jump, and on the second jump, you destroy any pink item ahead. It just adds that extra sauce to Cuphead gameplay, you know? You arrive at Inkwell Hell and you're ready to fight the devil. But first, you must challenge the Great King Dice. The King Dice level might be the hardest level in Cuphead. There's this system where you parry a dice and whatever number it lands on is the number you go forward on the board. And whatever spot on the board it says is what you'll be participating in shortly. Then you'll be facing King Dice himself, with this almost impossible level where you have to parry every 1 out of 4 cards, and when you miss a card, there goes your life. He does this about 5 to 6 times before you'll manage to kill him, depending on your weapon, and now you're ready for the devil himself. When you get there, the devil asks you to join him and hand over the contracts. When you decline, the devil challenges you to a fight. In this fight, the devil starts with his phase where he has 4 forms. The goat form, where he'll clap his hands right next to where you're standing and you have to frantically dodge it. The dragon form, where he does this snakish type maneuver and then right where you're standing and then snaps. His trident form, where he'll bring out the trident and makes balls all over the screen that are about to hit you and you have to dodge them frantically. And his spider form, where he turns into a spider and just falls down on you. From hardest to easiest stages in this stage, I would rank them from Dragon, Trident, Goat, and Spider. Spider was insanely easy and Dragon was insanely hard. He then undresses and falls into a pit where the final stage will take place. There are 5 platforms where you stand on, and the devil will send ranged weapons out of his ears and you'll dodge them until the one platform remains, and you'll dodge the best you can while shooting and hopefully beat the game. When you do beat the game, the feeling is not what you expected it to. While you do just feel insanely relieved, like I get to say I beat Cuphead now, the feeling of beating the game is not what you expected it to. I honestly had a better feeling beating Beppy the Clown and Treetop Trouble and Grim Matchstick than I did beating the devil, which is honestly quite sad, but it's just the way that it is. But it does make up for the fact of that when beating the game in general just adds that extra feeling to it. That was amazing. The feeling of beating the game was one of the best feelings ever. So all in all, Cuphead is one of my favorite games of all time. This game took me on adventures, but I'll never forget this unique and incredible game. I'll give this game a 10 out of 10 in enjoyment, but as a game, it has to be a 9.5 out of 10, just for some minor flaws. So no, it's not the best game of all time, but it certainly has been immensely enjoyable, and I'll consider it the best game of all time until a better one comes out. Be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed. I'll see you next time. Peace.
Hey, yo, we're gonna be looking at some more sexy
review
stuff. Sexy
review
stuff.
Niggas think I'm weird and they don't really like me. Cause I can fuck your bitch and fuck your mom and auntie. Your girl's a 5, but your mom is a dime.